Hi everyone and welcome. Today I'm introducing my Istanbul Hood pattern. It's all knitted in garter stitch with a snug 1x1 ribbed neck and a clean I-cord edge around the face. The pattern comes in 2 sizes. I'll share tips and tricks throughout the video. Let's get started. I'm using this yarn for the project, but you can use any yarn as long as it meets the gauge. I'll be knitting size 1 in a single color. The instructions of the second size would be on the screen as well as in the PDF file, which is linked down below. We will start by casting on for these stitches here, and then we will be knitting this section, and we will pick up stitches here, knit those live stitches and pick up stitches again, and then start knitting in this U shape, and then we will cast on new stitches for the under chin section to connect these parts, and then start knitting in the round, and then we'll start the rib section, and then we'll bind it off. Then we'll pick up stitches for the I-cord edge around this hole, and then we'll finish everything off with an I-cord edge. Let's make a loop. And this will be our very first stitch. Then we'll cast on 11 more stitches with the backward loops method. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. Now we'll turn our work and then start knitting. We'll be working in garter stitch, so back and forth, so we'll be knitting on each row. And that is the last stitch. Just tuck this one in. This is our first row. So we're going to turn our work again and knit all the way across. So we'll be knitting in garter stitch until we have 23 rows. And I'll see you after that. Let's count the rows, and I'll show you how to count the rows. Those waves and the lines in between. This is 1 row and this is 1 row, so you can count in between rows like this. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 22, and one more row, 23. So this is the first piece that we've finished. Now we'll be cutting our yarn. And we'll be picking up stitches here. Knit these live stitches and then pick up stitches here again. We will be picking up 12 stitches here and 12 stitches here, and there are 12 stitches here as well. So let's start for our first stitch. So this very start would be the first stitch. So I just take my needle and put it through the hole and take the yarn, hold it, and just put that yarn onto my needle. So we'll be picking up stitches in between those, let's say, waves. These are purl rows. So this is my first. Stitch. This is the second stitch. 3 here in between. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. For the 11th and 12th pick up and knit stitch. We'll be doing this because this is the corner and we want the corner to be rounder. So we need to pick up 2 stitches here. So if you can just stretch the piece a little, you can see here there is another hole, and that is our pickup hole. So we'll pick up here first, like just above this wave. That is our 11th stitch. And then we'll pick up here. And that's our 12th stitch. I'll just move that tail away. And then I'll just knit those 12 stitches. And yes, oops, sorry. And that is our last live stitch. Now we'll continue picking up stitches for this edge now. Let's do the same. So we'll pick up 1 stitch here and pick up another stitch here. And then we'll keep on picking up stitches. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Because we knitted one row, there's one row extra now, so I'll just skip that one and pick up a stitch here from the very first cast on edge. So that is 12 stitches picked up. Let's see our shape now. We've picked up stitches, 2 stitches here, a corner, and 2 stitches at this corner, so that we have a rounder shape, not a 90-degree like square shape. So we turn our work and continue knitting that U shape as we did before for that panel. This time we will be knitting more stitches, and because we have 36 stitches on our needles now, you just need to push your stitches from time to time because it is tight, kind of tight. After a couple of rows, it would be easier to knit the U shape because it will be larger and looser. So we will be knitting like this in garter stitch again, like knit all the stitches until the piece measures 26 centimeters. You can find all the information in the PDF, and the link is in the description box.
Will I cry? Will I leave behind broken and crumbled signs, hiding all my roads to you? And if I fight, will I come to life, calling for all your light, giving all my heart to you? And I've been falling, I've been lost, and I've been calling on my ghosts. I put it to rest because I'm coming home, coming home. Oh, and I've been carried, I've been dragged, and I've been lucky, torn and sad. I put it to rest because I'm coming home, coming home.
I have completed my 26 centimeter piece. This is the row I finished. So that is the right side of my work. This is the wrong side. I just finished knitting on the right side. Now I will cast on 6 new stitches, just as we did at the very beginning. So I just grab my yarn, wrap it around, and take 1 stitch. 1, we're going to cast on 6 stitches. 2, 3, 4, 5, oops, 5 and 6. Now starts the fun part. We're going to join here and here. So I just grab that piece and this is called a magic loop. You just take the excess cord and you will have the stitches right at the tip of the needle. We will put a stitch marker here, and this will be our beginning of round. So because we just knitted the last row, we need to purl this round because it's now we're going to work in rounds. So we just purl up until the new cast on stitches. When we come to the cast on stitches, we will knit them, not purl. So we will knit those six stitches. I'm just loosening those stitches so that they can fit onto the needle. Now we will knit those 6 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Now we'll slip our marker. The next rounds would be easier. In the next round, we will knit all the stitches up until the marker again. Because that's a garter stitch and we're working in the round, now we work 1 purl round, 1 knit round. This is the knit round. We're going to knit the cast on stitches, and we are back to our marker. Now we will change our needles. If you only have your 8mm needles, you can just go and knit, keep on knitting with your 8mm needles. But if you have 6mm needles, you can just start using your 6mm needles. This would be our last round to connect those two parts, and then we'll move on to the rib. So we're changing our needles at the very last round before the rib section, so that the rib section would form better when we change to 6mm needles. We just put our marker back again, and then we purl up until those last 6 stitches. One, two, three, four, five, 6. So I need to purl 3 more stitches. And then we will knit those 6 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Now we can remove our marker because we'll be cutting our yarn. Cut the yarn. After cutting our yarn, we will change our beginning of round. So what we need to do that, we will count and we will move those 18 stitches onto our right hand needle. So this is how we do it. That's our yarn that we just cut. So we just insert our needle purlwise and then just slip it. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, so we'll just put our marker again. Now is the time to change color if you like. If you want to work with a new color, you can just grab a new color and start knitting like this. This would be a knit, and then purl it. This is how you do it if you want to change color all the way around. But I don't want to change colors this time. I'll be using the same color to get a more like classical look. So I just grab my yarn and insert my needle knitwise and take the new yarn and put it like so and just knit it. So just make that tail long enough to weave in later on. So we will be knitting 1 knit and 1 purl. 1 knit and 1 purl all the way around, including the cast on stitches. We'll be knitting them in rib like the other stitches. No change. Again, you can just keep on knitting. That's the knit, so I'll purl this one. You can just keep on knitting on 8mm needles if you don't have 6mm needles. Or you can just, oops, careful with the tails. You don't want to lose them. Just tuck them in if they're loose. And one last knit and one last purl. So we're back to our beginning of round again. So just slip our marker and just do the same for 8 or 10 rounds, or however you like it. The previous one here, I knitted like 15 rounds, but because this one is the second size and I'm knitting the first size, which is the smallest size, so I'll just make it shorter. And let's just keep on knitting our rib section, just like that. Now that the stitches are looser, because I just knitted a couple of rounds in 1x1 rib, I don't have to use the magic loop technique.
I will fight. I will come to life, calling for all your.
And while you're knitting your ribbing, you can watch this knitting vlog to have some peaceful time, and you will also learn some tips and tricks so that you would know what to do or what not to do when you face some similar problems. After knitting my last purl round, I knitted, this is the last purl round, I knitted 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 more rounds. Now we will close it by binding it off. You can just go ahead and bind off in the easiest way, like you just, let's unknit this one. This is my beginning of round. Now I can just remove that. You can just knit the first stitch, knit the second stitch, and just pass the first stitch over the second stitch. But you need to be very loose because this is a very tight neck edge. So you just knit one stitch and just pass this the first stitch over the second stitch and just loosen it by just dragging it. But I would highly recommend that you follow me along with a tubular bind off, which is a very neat and very stretchy bind off. It's not so easy at the very beginning, but when you just get used to it, it is like the perfect solution for cuffs, for the hem, or whatever you like your bind off to be very stretchy and very neat. This is a very polished finishing option. So in order to bind our stitches off with a tubular bind off, you just grab your yarn and just very loosely turn it around your work. This is the first wrap. You need to wrap your yarn around your work. This is the second wrap. This is the third wrap, again very loosely. And that is 3.5. And you can just cut your yarn. Now we need a darning needle. With your darning needle, grab the tail and just put the tail through the needle hole. Again, just follow the instructions very carefully if this is your first time. But that is like a level more. In your finishing, this touch is very polished. So you can just move the stitches. This is the last stitch that we work on. This is our first stitch. So we just put our needle through the first loop knitwise and just pull the tail, and then we just release that stitch. Now the stitch is safe. And because this is the purl stitch, before we release that stitch, we just put our needle on the through the second stitch purlwise and pull it through. And then we just put our needle, darning needle, through the first stitch and then release it and pull it through. So we just bound off 2 stitches. Now this is the knit stitch. What we do is, because this is like going to the back, the yarn, we need to take it to the front. How do we do that? Not like this, by just putting our needle between the first and second stitches from the back to the front and just pull the yarn through. Now we put our needle through the second stitch knitwise and pull the yarn through. And then we do the same for the first stitch. This time we can just release it. Now you can just tuck it in. Now we have a purl stitch here. What we do, because this is already in the front, we just put our needle purlwise through the second stitch and purlwise through the first stitch and release it. Now this is going to the back. What we do, because this is a knit stitch, we just put our needle in between those two stitches and take it to the front. Oops. You need to be careful with the needle. I just like to tuck it in so that it won't get in the way. Now the stitch is in between those two stitches. What we do is to put the needle knitwise through the second stitch, now through the first stitch knitwise again. This time we can just release it. Now the stitch is already, the yarn is already in the front, and that is a purl stitch. So we just secure it and release it purlwise. Just drop that stitch. Now it's in the back. We need to take it to the front in between the stitches. Secure with the second stitch, knitwise, and release knitwise with the first stitch. Look how polished it looks here, and that is super stretchy. And it looks so polished. Now that is a purl stitch. What we do, we just secure it first by working on the second stitch on the needle. Purlwise and releasing it by working on the first stitch. Now I am at the very end of last two stitches. This is a knit stitch and that is a purl stitch. So I just bring my yarn forward, secure it, and release it. Now I don't have a stitch to secure, so what I do is I just, you see, this is a lonely stitch because they're all two stitches here because we didn't work the second stitch. So I just grab this leg just next to this lonely leg, and I just put my needle through purlwise to secure it, and then I just release my last stitch just like that. Now this is the very back of our hoodie, so we just turn our rib section inside we're just gonna hide that tail by just wrapping the tail just like that. And now it is nice and secure. We can just cut it. We will hide them later on. Now we're done with the tubular bind off, and you can see how stretchy it is. Now we will pick up stitches like around this hole for an I-cord edge. In order to do that, we need to pick up stitches first. So this is the under chin section, and just around the middle of this section, you see there are two legs. Just insert your needle. I'm still using my 6mm needles. And just tighten it, the tail, the yarn, wrap it around, and then just pull it through. That is our first stitch. We're going to do the same and the same. Now that we have 3 stitches, we will just skip a stitch here and put our needle and grab a stitch, and then we will just pick up another stitch here, just right next to it. Now I will tell you the pickup rate. Just as we did while we were picking up stitches here for the side sections of the hood, we will just pick up stitches in the knit row, as you remember, this is a purl row and there is a hole here, and that is a knit row and there is another hole here. So what we do is we just collect one stitch from the knit section, collect another stitch from the purl section, and then collect another stitch from the knit section again. So this is 3 stitches side by side. Now for the 4th stitch, we just skip that purl, that little purl hole, and we just, with the 2 legs, we just pick up a stitch in the knit section, pick up a stitch in the purl section and then another in the knit section. So this is our pickup rate. Knit, purl, knit, skip purl, knit, purl, knit, skip purl, knit, purl, knit, skip purl, knit, purl, knit. So knit, purl, knit. I just skip this purl section here. Knit, purl, knit. Skip that purl section. Knit, purl, knit. Skip that purl section. Now this is our very first cast on edge. We will be collecting all the stitches here. That is the purl stitch, so we skip that stitch and then we just collect all the cast on stitches. And then we just skip that purl stitch and again knit, purl, oops, purl, knit, skip that purl stitch, knit, purl, knit, and we have one, two, and three stitches here at the under chin section. Now what we do is we need that needle, so just move your stitches closer to the edge, closer to the tip of the left hand needle. Now what we'll do is we will cast on 3 stitches for the I-cord edge. How we do that, not with the backward loops method, we will cast on knit stitches. In order to do that, we just put our needle the first and the second stitch of the 2 first stitches, wrap our yarn around, pull it through, and turn it and place it onto our left hand needle and just tuck it just a little. Now we do the same between the first this is the cast on stitch. We just put our needle through the first and the second stitch, here, just in between, wrap our yarn take the yarn and turn our needle and put that stitch back onto our left hand needle. Once more, this would be our third stitch, right in between the first and second stitches. We just put our needle right in between. We just wrap the yarn around, pull it through, and turn our needle and just place our stitch onto our left hand needle. Now we will start the I-cord bind off. This is the I-cord bind off that will be working. Again, you can pick up stitches in a different color or just keep on working with the same color as I do. Now we will knit our first stitch, carefully purl our second stitch, and the next two stitches I will just knit them together through the back loop. Normally we just put our needle like this, but this time I'll just put my needle right in those two stitches through the back legs and pull it through. So we just bound off our first stitch. Now what we do is we just put those 3 stitches back onto our left hand needle. Now we will do the same again. We just knit the first stitch, purl the second stitch, and those 2 stitches we just knit them through the back loop together. And we put those stitches back, and this is what we do: knit, purl, knit 2 through the back loop, put them back, knit, purl, knit 2 through the back loop, put the stitches back, and this is what we'll be doing all around the face hole, the face opening, so that we could have a nice edge around our face. Now I will bind off my last stitch, and now I have 3 stitches left on my right hand needle. Now that I have 3 stitches left, I just cut my yarn and turn the needle so that it was like this when I finished it. I just turn my needle so that the last stitch will be our first stitch, and we'll be working with our darning needle. So we just put our yarn through the first stitch knitwise and release that stitch, securing the other two. And then we just, do you see that V shape here? Not this one, because it's so bumpy. Go under those legs and pull your yarn through and just secure it. So we'll do the same. Just grab the yarn knitwise and release it. That's our purl stitch. So we'll be working the purl stitch now. That is the purl stitch. And then knitwise again for the last time. So our last knit stitch is here. So we just go under those legs. And here is our I-cord crafting. We just turn our work. This is the inside of our hood. We just secure the tail. And then you just go and hide the tail by going under those purl stitches. Don't tighten it too much. And now you can cut your yarn. And we're finished. Now we'll be hiding our ends. That's called weaving the ends with our darning needle. We'll secure our yarn tails and then cut them off. When your tail is really short, you can just put your needle first and then put your yarn through the hole, and then you can just secure it like that if it's too short. Yeah, it's about to be finished right now. Just secure it. Cut it. And I think that's it. Nice and neat. Now we will block our hood. We have our lukewarm water and we have a wool wash, wool shampoo. We just pour our wool shampoo into our bowl, mix it, and then place our hood into our bowl, making sure that every inch of our hood is soaked. I think I need a little bit more water, so I think that is enough. So this will be in the water for a couple of hours, and then I'll just squeeze it very gently and get the excess water with a towel and then flat dry.